இணைய வெளிகளில் இமயமாய் நிமிர்ந்து நிற்கும் உங்கள் RTV தமிழ்.
வணக்கம் நேர்களே, இன்று உங்களுடன் கௌரிசன் சந்திக்க இருக்கின்றோம் டேர்னிங் பாயிண்ட் நிகழ்ச்சியுடன். இன்றும் டேர்னிங் பாயிண்ட் நிகழ்ச்சி RTV தமிழ் இன்டர்நேஷனலில் பார்த்து கொண்டிருக்கின்றீர்கள். இன்றும் ஒரு புதிய சிறப்பு விருந்தினரை சந்திக்க இருக்கின்றோம். இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியை பார்க்கணும் என்றால் நீங்கள் ஃபேஸ்புக் மூலமாகவும் யூடியூப் மூலமாகவும் சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணாதான் பார்க்க முடியும். அத்தோடு இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியை ஸ்பான்சர் பண்ணி கொண்டிருக்கின்றார்கள் பிரைல் டிரான்ஸ்லேஷன்ஸ் லிமிடெட் மற்றும் A to Z குளோபல் வெஜிடபிள் குளோபல் டிரான்ஸ்லேஷன் அவர்களும் கூட. இன்று நாங்கள் ஒரு சிறப்பு விருந்தினர், அவர் ஒரு மாற்றுத்திறனாளி, அவர் விழிப்புணர்வற்றவர். அவற்றை பேர் வந்து ராயன் கேம்பிள். அவரை நாங்கள் டிஜே ரே, அவரை நாங்கள் கலையத்து காத்துக்கிறோம். குட் ஈவினிங் ராயன். Hello.
How are you?
Good evening. Hi, I'm all right. How are you, sir?
I'm very good. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming to my show, actually. So this Turning Point show is listened and watched by all over the world by RTV Tamil International, Facebook, and also YouTube, and also Eagle TV in Canada as well. I'm going to interview in English. I know you don't understand Tamil, my language, and
No.
if you wish, yeah. Okay. We'll crack on straight on to the interview, Ryan, because I know you're going to do another show on the radio. Is that right?
Yes, that is right.
Because I don't want to, starting about 10-15 minutes. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. I start at 10 p.m. UK time.
Okay. So we'll try to get on quickly while you're doing the setting up your stuff. We can talk while you're doing that.
I'm all set and ready to go.
You're all set to the radio show then, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, that's good to hear. So Ryan, thanks for coming again to my show, and tell me about your full name and how did you your blindness. Can you tell our viewers about it, please?
Well, my name is Rayon Campbell. I was born blind. I was born in Jamaica, so I didn't grow up in the UK. I was educated in Jamaica as well before I came to the UK just after my school. And it was, well, let's just say it was definitely two different worlds. Living and growing up in Jamaica and then coming to the UK and learning a brand new life.
That's good. So how long ago you came to UK then, Ryan?
I came here in 2002, so we're talking nearly 19 years.
Yeah, that's good. So can you tell me about your blindness, please?
I have a condition called bilateral microophthalmia, which means that from birth, the eyes are either very poorly formed or not formed at all. Mine is bilateral, which means there's a problem with both eyes. One is poorly formed and the other one, well, there's hardly anything there except the framework.
That's good. So yeah, that's nice. Yeah. Education. Can you tell me about education? Did you study in Jamaica or you study
I
in
did.
UK?
I did much of my studies in Jamaica up until secondary level. I did all of that. Then I came here and did some um, what's called adult learning courses to teach stuff that I already knew, like teach Braille.
Mm-hmm.
I got certified at South Thames to do that, so I could actually go around teaching Braille if anyone wanted to learn that. I also did another English language course. Not that I really needed it because I passed with distinction
Mm.
at the Jamaican or the Caribbean equivalent of GCSE level. So I wouldn't have actually needed another course, but at the time I thought I did. You know.
Okay. That you did it in UK, is that correct?
Yes, I did.
So okay, that's good. So how did you find this when you're studying? How did you find it? Or did you have any special equipment for the education? Did the college or schools provided you anything like that?
In Jamaica, we had not a lot of special equipment. I used to walk around with my Perkins brailler and making my notes, and I had my big rucksack on my back, which was full of binders, full of braille notes. And I'm sure you know how big and heavy those braille papers can be, especially when they're combined. So it was hard going. Plus my textbooks and all of that, but we didn't get the extra special accessibility help. Except, of course, we had a system that back home where we got volunteers from the nearby high schools to come and read for us and help us with writing as well, which was good and bad because if their handwriting was poor, then it was going to make it difficult for the teachers to mark. But I was lucky enough to get good handwriting. And I mean, statistically, so far as I know, girls have always been better with their handwriting than boys. And the volunteers that we had came from school for girls close by, most of them anyway.
There's a good
So,
thing you
but
good thing you said
yes,
that,
it
right?
was.
Good.
So the law of averages was in my favor.
Yeah.
I've never heard a teacher actually complain about my work, my written work. Um, it posed other problems. I mean, spelling, you have to be careful to spell because sometimes these are teenagers themselves and they might be embarrassed to ask you how to spell a word. Some people are like that, so you have to learn to correspond, and you have to communicate because I was quite shy and quiet, but I learned pretty quickly that if you don't know how to talk for what you want, then you won't get it. You simply won't. And so yeah, that was Jamaica for you.
Yeah.
Coming here, I had a support worker at the college. I can remember that. But most of my stuff, I didn't need someone to write for me anymore because I could do the work, type the work on a computer, and that would be all right. So that there was that. But because I was so used to the other system, I kind of did miss the human interaction element.
Okay, that's good. That's good because you're saying the ladies, girls help you out with the writing and so on. Because glad you said that because of the today's International Women's Day, we need to respect the ladies.
Well,
No.
yes, that is true. If they were the kind of people who would be watching this, then I would be saying hello to all of the former students of the Immaculate Conception High School. 'Cause they were very helpful.
That's good. That's good. That's good to hear. Can you tell me about your family, please, Ryan?
Um, it's a typical Jamaican family. It's big. It's full of extended family members. So lots of uncles and aunts and dozens of cousins.
Yeah.
Yes. It's more or less the same for most Jamaicans. You have a big extended family as opposed to a close knit nuclear one. So not just a mother, father, sister, brother. Sometimes, in fact, most families are. I think that I've heard a pretty strange and unfortunate term used before, blended families, but most of our families are like that. So much so that we don't use things like stepbrother or stepsister or half brother or half. We don't use those terms at all. He's either your brother or your sister. That's it. There is no distinction between the two.
Okay.
So that's because it's so commonplace.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Can I ask you about your children? How many children you got, and do they have any disability on their side, if you don't mind?
I have 3 children, but I live with 2 of them. 2 of them are my partner's children, who I met 9 years ago, 9 years and a bit ago. And so I've raised them as my own as well since then. But I have 1 son as well, my previous relationship.
Okay, that's good. Okay. So you know about Braille. Is it Jamaica in English Braille and UK
I
English
learned
Braille?
no, I learned Braille. I learned Braille from an early age. I learned Braille at school in Jamaica, at the School for the Blind, before I went to mainstream secondary school. I learned, I did all the lessons that I suppose people would get, the reading out loud, the typing in grade 1 and 2 Braille, all of that stuff. They were very keen on making sure that I learned all of that before I got to year 4 of primary level education.
That's good. That's good. So let's talk about your music involvement with Cerulean Management. They are promoting your DJing and writing for artists and so on. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, can you tell?
I actually started DJing from 2009. Believe it or not, oh gosh, that's such a long time ago now. And at the time, I was using some very basic software because I couldn't afford a mixer. And then, of course, later on, I moved to a proper DJ deck, like a proper CD DJ deck. And I was doing that. I did gigs on that as well, live gigs. Probably one of the most memorable ones I did was at a pub in Brighton, a very small pub. They were doing a charity event. And I also went to the Scala in King's Cross. Again, that was a charity event. I did those as sort of promo gigs, but in terms of paid work, I did 2 years at the Liberty Festival on the South Bank, which sort of happens every year, celebrating disabled artists and entertainers and stuff like that. Of course, it hasn't happened the last 2 years, but
I wonder why.
Yes, I know, right?
Yeah.
But it was good to get that experience, and I got that experience on proper DJ decks. So even if I don't, I'm digital now. I'm gone entirely digital now. But even if I was not digital, I'd be perfectly at home with a proper set of CDJs and my CDs. And I did that for quite some time. I grew up with someone back home who is a producer, and he has worked with all kinds of reggae artists over the years, and of course, I'm entering into a writing project with him to get, of course, to get more work done, because we actually wrote together before, and so we work well together as a partnership. So we're sort of redone that, and that is something to look forward to. Of course, as a DJ, I also intend to go back into doing remixes, which is a very popular thing here. Yeah. And that is to, of course, take vocals from popular tracks and more or less recompose a beat for them. And this is, it's not uncommon for DJs here to do that. So I'm going to join that. In fact, that's one of the best ways, in fact, that DJs get themselves known, even though that's got nothing to do with DJing, that's more music production, but I'm comfortable with doing that as well.
That's good, that's good. Yeah, that's good to hear. So how was a review or feedback from the guests when you did the charity event in Brighton and King's Cross?
Oh, interesting. You should ask that. That was wonderful. I tell you what, when I take the gig, like when I used to take any gig, I never told them that I was blind. I never do that, ever, ever, ever. And I'll tell you why. There is a psychology amongst people that you might not be able to do, you might not be able to do the job they want you to do. And they don't tell you that. They simply just, well, they just don't call back. So I learned really quick, because I used to market myself on places like Gumtree and Vivastreet, which is another classified ad site, and places like that. I did a lot of that back in 2009, 2010, 2011, right up until about 2013, 2014, really. And a lot of times I even sold mixed CDs and stuff like that, and I got people to buy them. I had no trouble getting people to buy them. But it's often that I had to go deliver the CDs or meet people, and then you get that moment, that awkward moment of quiet, and it's that moment when they realize that this guy is coming towards you with his dog, and he clearly can't see you, and there's this sort of 30 seconds or so when it was, oh no, really? Jeez. And then they get extra sweet, extra nice, because they don't really want to get offensive and sort of thing. And oh, and hello, oh, how are you? How was your journey? And all of that stuff. I don't think they would have bothered if I wasn't blind, but they felt they needed to be polite. But this lady, when I went to do the gig in Brighton, I think for a while she was genuinely upset because she thought, no, this is not going to go well. So I knew I had a point to prove. I think there has never been a gig that I have done, apart from Liberty Festival, that I don't always have a point to prove. And I'm conscious of that. I'm good with that, though. But she was upset. She was quiet for a while. And actually, Cyril was there with me. He accompanied me on that one. And we were going to go in and get set up. And do you need help? No, we don't. Just show me where the desk is and the speakers are and the plugs are. And that's all we need. Get set up. They were still very quiet, very, very, very quiet. But they hovered, like nervous, like waiting to see what would go wrong. And we set up with very little trouble because we've done it so many times before.
Yeah.
It wasn't an issue. This was when I was using CDJs. I wasn't using a laptop then, so everything was analog, which is from a disabled perspective, that's actually quite good.
Sorry, Ryan.
The moment,
Before you go further, are you okay with your radio show? Are you
yes,
still?
well, I'm live, I'm on.
Okay. Okay. Just okay. You
Um,
carry.
so we got set up, and I played the first song. Okay, not bad. At least I can play the buttons. At least I think that's the general view. At least I can press the buttons. Then I produced my first beat matched mix.
Mm-hmm.
And they realized finally that they were going to get the club style DJing that they wanted. And people started to relax a little bit. The girl who was hosting the event actually even came up and requested a song for her and her partner. Their song of the moment, because they were young university students, their song at the moment was a song called La 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 by Sam Smith, because that was quite popular at the time.
Okay.
And as I carried on the mix and I carried on with my stuff, and they realized that this is the club set they wanted, people started to relax, people started to wake up, people started to request their tunes, people started to dance, and this was my moment to prove that actually, I can deliver what I said I could deliver, and I make it a point. Even if all things being equal, I do get to start going around again. I will never ever tell my prospective employers that I'm blind, because I don't need to. And when I go there, I can deliver exactly what I said I would deliver, like I did that night. But that was my favorite one because I knew the girl was genuinely upset when I got there.
That's good. That's good. That's good. The similar thing to King's Cross as well. Is that correct?
No, King's Cross was all right, actually. King's Cross was strange because I was there with quite a few DJs, and I don't know if because the Eastern Europeans, they're kind of sort of it was for a charity that they were raising funds for a children's hospital back in Poland. And all they wanted was people to play some music. And I went there, and I suppose they linked, blind guy with music. This one I didn't bring. They just thought, you know what, he's here, he's got the equipment, he looks like he can do it, the job. And yeah, they were actually quite facilitating. But that's the only one that I can remember that that had nothing to do with my disability or with disabilities in general, that they didn't actually mind the fact that I was blind. It was all right for them.
So you use CD, not vinyl. Is that correct? For the DJing?
I used back in when I was a lot more active and I was going around, I used CDs at the time. I've gone digital since. I have a laptop set up. In fact, it's only because I'm not really confident with the camera. Otherwise, I would show you my DJ deck, which is actually sitting right below the view of the camera right now.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah, with my headphones on top of it. So I have a complete setup, digital setup, ready for my next gig, whenever that is.
That's good. So is it easy to carry for as a blind person point of view? Is somebody help you out or anything like that for the DJ setup?
It's easier to carry a computer in a laptop bag. However, I suppose I have some concerns with dragging my controller around, even though that is precisely why I wanted it, because it helps me do my job a lot easier. But I can remember that actually that trip from King's Cross, even though it went so very well going, coming back was rough, and all that jogging around and stuff knocked a few buttons off of my CD mixer. So as a blind person going around with CD mixers, and it can be a little bit hazardous because of course you don't have a car, and I was promoting myself, so I I didn't really have the money to be taking taxis from one end of London to the next. So
Yeah.
it was. I think if any blind DJs are going out there, they're either getting paid, they're going completely digital, so it's safe inside a bag, or they're taking taxi from as much as they possibly can, just because it is costly to maintain. And I lost out quite a few bits of that mixer coming back from that King's Cross trip.
That's good. Apart from DJing and writing music, what other career you did or you're doing at the moment?
That's my main focus. It's music oriented. Even my broadcasting, amateur broadcasting online is the same, mainly. I do sometimes work with anyone else that the management have, because I can do that. But for the most part, though, it is music oriented.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So, are you very busy during the lockdown period?
No, that's a short one. No, I wasn't.
Okay.
Not
So,
not as much as I would have liked to have been.
okay, yeah, yeah, and basically you do the radio show. Is it every day or every week? Do you do for? How does it work?
My the one I'm most proud of, if truth be told, is my Tuesday night show, which is called the Reggae Explosion. That's obviously, it kind of says it in the title. Really, it's all about reggae music and dancehall music. But I do other shows. Like the one I'm doing now is not a music show. Actually, it's a comedy show. And being Women's Day and all,
Mhm.
it's all about funny women tonight. So there's that. And yeah, I do other sort of music, and I even sort of either go on as a panel or as the main presenter of a sports show, which is quite a new area for me. But I'm thinking, learning to do that might actually mean that
More
even if the
explosion, isn't
DJ,
it?
yeah, exactly. So even if it's not the DJing that does it, then presenting a show is something I can do as well.
That's good. That's good. Can you tell our viewers or listeners which radio station do you do the shows?
I do the shows on a radio station called Dodge Radio, and it's on dodgeradio.net, and it's accessible all over the world.
So how do you spell the Dodge? DOG or
DODGE.
okay?
DODGE. So, if you like your reggae music, you can join me tomorrow around this time, and there'll be lots of that for you.
Okay. So is it how accessible for blind people for that radio station?
They are built because the person who actually designs the website, the two people who maintain the website, work for the RNIB. Funny enough,
Okay.
so they are extremely conscious of what needs to be accessible and what isn't. So the site is easy to navigate, and it you can access archives of previous shows, whatever you find interesting on there.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So you play keys as well, is that correct?
Pardon?
You play keys keyboard as well, isn't it?
Oh yes, I have to, because in the style of remixing that I go for is not always taking another beat. Is sometimes building from scratch, and well, not unfortunately, but in order to be able to build from scratch, you have to be able to play the notes. So I do that. You know, the kids are back at school now, so hopefully that should allow me some time to make some more.
That's good. That's good. That's good. So as a DJ, so how did you come to the name of DJ Ray, please?
You know what? It's not my choice because I started by using the term selector. Selector is well, roughly it is a selector, which in Jamaica it's the person who plays the music, who chooses the music, because we use the term DJ. Or we used to use the term DJ a little bit incorrectly. We used to use it as an MC, so the person who's talking on the songs is the DJ. But I realized that using the term selector is not going to roll off the tongue of English speakers very well, and it hasn't. So I decided, with a little help, I think, from my friends back home, because they had a couple of jingles produced for me. Okay. And they forgot that I wanted Selector Ray on the jingles, so they put DJ Ray on the jingles. Now, I can't get those remade, so that helped to sort of do it for me. But DJ Ray was not my original choice. I was outvoted by by literally everyone to go with that name.
That's good. That's good. So, how many songs you wrote so far?
In terms of recorded work, I would say no more than probably about 4, and I did those with my friend who I said is a producer, and this was some time ago now. But like I said, I'm planning to. We have plans to get that going back again.
That's good. That's good. What is your future plan, Mr. DJ Ray, aka Rayon Campbell?
I think, I hope, I pray that somehow, I get a chance to circulate again. I don't know how that is going to happen yet, but it would be good to get playing again. I think I remember. Obviously not last summer, because last summer we were in pandemic. The summer before that, I did a gig for a mutual friend of ours, Maria Oshodi, and it was her birthday, and I did that gig, and it was a reminder of something I loved and missed, really missed. I stood there for 4 hours. I didn't even sit. I stood for 4 hours playing song after song after song. And at the end of it, I can promise you, I was nowhere near tired, because I loved doing my what I do so much. So I'm hoping that post recovery, post pandemic, things can start getting back to normal, and maybe, just maybe, I can start appearing in more places.
That's good. That's good. So, final few questions. So, how did you involve with the Liberty Festival, Ryan?
Liberty Festival. Actually, you know what? It was Maria, the same Maria I just spoke about.
Yeah.
She was the one that she was going to go 1 year, but she couldn't make it. So she put me on to the promoter and said, "Can you do it? Can you deliver this and that sort of music?" I said, "Yes, I could. Of course, I would." I went the first year, done it, got praised for it. And there's something they're quite against in re-inviting people because they want as many people as possible to get a chance. But I was one of the rare ones that actually got re-invited. I got to go back another year. And I did a longer set this time, which of course that suits me just fine. And you know, it was, well, for me anyway, it was the best kind of compliment, knowing that not only did you get a second chance where they endeavor not to give people that because, you know, as I said, they want to make more people get a chance, but you got praised the second time around again. And you know, that's always good to hear.
That's good. That's good. So, anything else you want to tell our viewers about yourself and that you're hiding from us?
No, I don't know if any police are listening, but I can honestly say that, you know, with all that is going on at the moment, trying to stay motivated is always going to be an issue. And the best way to go about doing it is to find something in your comfort zone to keep doing. I like DJing, but since I can't be out there DJing, I broadcast online on a radio station. It keeps me doing the mixes, keeps me doing the talking, keeps me doing the whole thing, and that keeps that part of my life and that part of my motivation alive, rather than putting it down and then finding it difficult to pick it up again, you know. So I would say that's the best way to keep whatever your hopes are alive, even if you can't get to do it exactly, then do something like it to keep it going.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Anyway, thank you for your time, Ryan, and it's a pleasure to interview. First time I interviewed you, and hopefully in the future we can do more interview shows, and we'll look forward to listening to your dodgeradio.net website
Yeah.
for your viewers and listeners. They can they request songs as well in there?
Yes. Yes, they can. Yes, they can. I take requests.
Okay. Do you do world songs as well, or only reggae? Do you have any other dates
It,
for
de-
the?
it, de- it depends on what show I'm doing. I do a show called the Chill Spot on a one. It's 1 p.m. UK time, and I do a themed day. Like on Wednesdays, I call it Weird Wednesdays. And Weird Wednesdays can mean literally anything,
What
anything.
what time do you do that
And
song?
that's 1 until 2 p.m. UK time. So during the day, it's a chill spot. That's kind of
Is
sort
that
of
is it live or is it a recorded one?
that is live. No, that is live. So I take requests in that too.
Okay.
And the thing about Weird Wednesdays, you can request a theme for that day, and I will play all. So if you said you wanted world music on that day, then
Mm-hmm.
I will play nothing but different kinds of music from all over the place on that day. So, you know,
That's
yeah.
that's good. That's good. Thank you for your time, Ryan, and sorry to
Thank you very much for having me.
call you late for this interview, and thanks for
Yes.
joining us, and I'll speak to you soon. Thanks again. ஆமாம்
Thanks
நேர்களே,
again.
இத்துடன் நாங்கள் டேர்னிங் பாயிண்ட் நிகழ்ச்சியை முடித்துக்கொண்டு மற்றும் வாரத்தில் இன்னும் ஒரு சிறப்பு விருந்தினை சந்திக்கும் வரை உங்களிடமிருந்து விடைபெறுவது உங்கள் கௌரிசன் ரத்னராஜா. நன்றி, வணக்கம்.